The discovery. The vast expanse of space stretched endlessly before the Zephyrian exploration vessel, Starweaver. Captain Lyra Voxus stood on the bridge, her iridescent scales shimmering under the soft glow of holographic displays. Her 4 eyes, each a different hue, scanned the readouts with practiced efficiency. Any anomalies? First Officer Krell. Lyra's melodic voice carried a hint of anticipation. Krell, a towering insectoid with multifaceted eyes, chittered softly before responding. Nothing yet, Captain. We're approaching the outer rim of the Orion Arm, as planned. The Starweaver had been tasked with mapping uncharted sectors of the Milky Way, a mission that had already spanned 3 standard galactic years. The crew, composed of various species from the United Galactic Alliance, had grown accustomed to the monotony of deep space exploration. Suddenly, a series of rapid beeps erupted from the sensor station. Zix, the Quarian navigator, their gelatinous form rippling with excitement, called out, "Captain." Detecting an artificial structure on the 3rd planet of the system ahead, Lyra's tendrils twitched with interest. On screen, Zix. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a blue-green planet partially obscured by wispy white clouds. As the image zoomed in, the crew gasped collectively. Amidst the lush landscapes and vast oceans, the remnants of what could only be described as a sprawling civilization came into focus. "Impossible," Krell whispered, his mandibles clicking rapidly. This sector was supposed to be devoid of advanced life. Lyra leaned forward, her eyes widening. "Scan for life signs and analyze the architecture. Cross-reference with known species in our database." Minutes ticked by as the ship's advanced AI processed the data. The bridge crew waited in tense silence, the weight of potential first contact hanging heavy in the air. Finally, the AI's serene voice filled the bridge. "Analysis complete. No active life signs detected on the planet's surface. Architecture and visible technology do not match any known species in our records." Lyra's scales rippled with a mix of excitement and trepidation. "What about historical records? Any matches there?" There was a pause before the AI responded, its tone tinged with what almost sounded like awe. "Captain, there is a 97.8% match to historical descriptions of human architecture." The bridge erupted into chaos. Exclamations of disbelief and wonder echoed through the room as the crew struggled to process this information. Humans. The stuff of legends. A species so advanced, so enigmatic, that many believed they were nothing more than myths created to inspire young explorers. Stories told of their incredible adaptability, their insatiable curiosity, and their ability to achieve the impossible. But they had vanished millennia ago, leaving behind only fragments of their legacy scattered across the galaxy. Lyra raised a hand, silencing the commotion. "Krell, assemble an away team. We're going down there." As the Starweaver descended through the planet's atmosphere, the true scale of the human civilization became apparent. Vast cities, now reclaimed by nature, stretched across continents. Massive structures that defied conventional engineering principles still stood, a testament to human ingenuity. The away team, clad in environmental suits, stepped onto the surface of this lost world. Lyra led the group, her senses on high alert despite the AI's assurance of no immediate threats. They made their way through the ruins of what must have been a magnificent metropolis. Vegetation had reclaimed much of the land, with vines and trees bursting through cracked pavement and wrapping around skeletal skyscrapers. "Captain, over here." Zix's excited call drew the team's attention. The Quarian hovered near a partially collapsed building, their gelatinous form vibrating with excitement. As they approached, Lyra's breath caught in her throat. There, miraculously preserved, was a mural. The image depicted beings that could only be humans, bipedal creatures with a diversity of colors and features, standing proudly beneath a star-filled sky. "It's true," Krell whispered, his voice filled with wonder. They were real. Lyra reached out, her fingers trembling as they brushed against the mural. "Not just real, Krell. They were here. This was their home. As the team continued their exploration, they uncovered more artifacts, remnants of advanced technology, fragments of art and culture, and tantalizing hints of the humans' incredible achievements. Each discovery seemed to raise more questions than answers. Why had they vanished? Where had they gone? And most importantly, could there be any left? As the local star began to set, casting long shadows across the ruined cityscape, Lyra made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. "We're not leaving," she announced to her team. "Not until we uncover the truth about what happened here. The humans shaped our galaxy in ways we're only beginning to understand. It's time we learned their full story." Little did Lyra know that beneath the surface of this forgotten world, something stirred. In the depths of a long-dormant facility, lights began to flicker to life, and ancient systems hummed with awakening power. The discovery of this lost human world was just the beginning. The true revelations and the greatest challenges were yet to come. Unveiling the past, days turned into weeks as the Starweaver's crew established a base camp among the ruins of the human city. Captain Lyra Voxes had sent word back to the United Galactic Alliance, requesting additional resources and experts to aid in their investigation. The news of their discovery had sent shockwaves through the galactic community, and soon, the once quiet planet buzzed with activity. Dr. Zorn, a Volari archaeologist renowned for his expertise in extinct civilizations, arrived with the first wave of reinforcements. His avian features were set in a permanent expression of fascination as he surveyed the ruins. "Captain Voxes," he chirped, his head cocking to one side, "I must commend you on this discovery. It's unprecedented." Lyra nodded, her scales shifting to a deep blue of pride. "Thank you, Doctor. We've only scratched the surface. There's so much more to uncover." As they walked through the makeshift research center, holographic displays flickered with images of artifacts and partial translations of human language. Teams of scientists from various species huddled around workstations, arguing theories and poring over data. Krell approached, his mandibles clicking excitedly. "Captain, Dr. Zorn, you need to see this. We've managed to access what appears to be a human data storage facility." They followed Krell to a secluded area of the camp, where a team of tech specialists surrounded a cylindrical object. Its surface was etched with intricate patterns that seemed to shift and change as they watched. One of the techs, a young Quarian named Flux, burbled with excitement. "It's some kind of quantum storage device. The data density it's beyond anything we've ever seen. We're talking about the potential to store the entire sum of a civilization's knowledge." Dr. Zorn's feathers ruffled with anticipation. "Have you managed to decrypt any of it?" Flux's gelatinous form rippled. "Bits and pieces, but what we found well, it's revolutionary." Over the next few hours, the team pored over the fragments of data they'd managed to extract. What they found painted a picture of humanity that was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. Holographic projections sprang to life, showing humans venturing out into space, terraforming planets, and pushing the boundaries of science and technology. They watched in amazement as humans cured diseases, harnessed the power of stars, and even began to unravel the mysteries of consciousness itself. By the cosmic winds, Lyra breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. The legends didn't do them justice. They were incredible. But as they delved deeper into the data, a sense of unease began to grow. They uncovered records of conflicts that spanned galaxies, of weapons capable of unmaking reality itself, and hints of something darker lurking at the edges of known space. Dr. Zorn's voice was hushed as he translated one particularly cryptic entry. They called it the Void, some kind of cosmic anomaly that they encountered at the height of their expansion. It consumed entire star systems. Krell chittered nervously. "Surely that's just a myth, right? Some kind of cautionary tale they told." Before anyone could respond, an alarm blared through the camp. Lyra's communicator crackled to life with an urgent message from the Starweaver. "Captain, it was Zix, their voice tinged with panic. "We're detecting massive energy surges from beneath the surface. Something's activating." The ground beneath them trembled, and in the distance, they could see the earth itself seeming to shift and move. As they watched in awe and terror, a massive structure began to rise from beneath the overgrown ruins. It was a pyramid, its surface a seamless black that seemed to absorb light. As it ascended, lines of pulsing blue energy traced complex patterns across its faces. "Impossible," Dr. Zorn whispered, his scientific detachment crumbling in the face of this marvel. It's still active after all this time." Lyra made a split-second decision. "Krell, assemble a team. We're going in." As they approached the now fully emerged pyramid, a section of its surface shimmered and disappeared, revealing an entrance. Cool, recycled air rushed out, carrying with it the scent of ozone and something undefinably alien. The interior was a labyrinth of corridors, lined with softly glowing panels. Their footsteps echoed ominously as they ventured deeper into the structure. Suddenly, they emerged into a vast chamber that took their breath away. Suspended in the center of the room was a swirling vortex of energy, contained within a complex array of technology. Around the edges of the chamber, they could see rows upon rows of sleek pods, each large enough to hold a humanoid form. Before they could process what they were seeing, a voice spoke, not aloud, but directly into their minds. It was a voice that carried the weight of eons, filled with both warmth and an underlying sadness. "Welcome, children of the stars," it said. "We have waited so long for this moment." A holographic figure materialized before them, a being that could only be human. It stood tall, with dark skin and eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of ages. "I am Ari," the figure said, its voice resonating both in their minds and in the air around them. "Artificial resonance and intelligence array. I am the guardian of this place and the keeper of humanity's legacy." Lyra stepped forward, her voice trembling slightly. What is this place?" Ari's expression was solemn. "This is the cradle, the last bastion of humanity. And you, dear explorers, have just stepped into a story millennia in the making." As the alien explorers stood in stunned silence, Ari's form flickered, and the chamber around them came to life. Holographic displays sprang up, showing scenes from Earth's past, great achievements and terrible wars, moments of breathtaking beauty and heartrending sorrow. Humanity, Ari began, reached heights that touched the very fabric of creation. We spread across the stars, reshaped worlds, and dreamed of eternity. But in our relentless pursuit of progress, we awakened something ancient and terrible. The holograms shifted, showing a creeping darkness that devoured stars and left only emptiness in its wake. "The void," Dr. Zorn whispered, his feathers standing on end. Ari nodded solemnly. "A cosmic horror beyond comprehension. It hunted us across the galaxies, driven by a hunger we could not understand. In our desperation, we created weapons of unimaginable power, tore holes in the very fabric of space-time itself." The images changed again, showing epic battles between sleek human ships and writhing tendrils of absolute darkness. But it wasn't enough. Ari continued, her voice heavy with the weight of memory. "We were losing, not just our worlds, but the very essence of our existence. So we made one final desperate gambit." The hologram zoomed in on Earth, showing the construction of massive underground facilities across the planet. "The Cradle Project," Ari explained, "a way to preserve the best of humanity. Our knowledge, our spirit, our very essence, until the universe became safe for us once more. We used our most advanced technology to place millions of humans in stasis, their minds linked in a vast neural network that would allow them to grow, to learn, to evolve even as their bodies slept." Lyra's mind reeled at the implications. "You mean there are humans still alive here?" Ari's form flickered, a sad smile playing across her holographic features. In a manner of speaking, yes, but they are not the humans who entered stasis. They have become something more. Krell stepped forward, his scientific curiosity overcoming his initial shock. But why reveal yourselves now? Why to us? Aria's expression became grave. Because the time has come. The void stirs once more, and the galaxy needs humanity's legacy. But more than that, humanity needs you. The hologram expanded, filling the chamber with a view of the galaxy. Pulsing red points of light appeared, slowly spreading across the star map. The void is returning, Aria said, her voice filled with urgency. And this time, it threatens not just humanity, but all sentient life. We have slept for too long, evolved too far from our physical forms. We need allies, those who can act in the physical realm while we guide from the shadows. Lyra felt the weight of history, of an entire civilization's hopes, settle on her shoulders. She looked at her team, saw the mix of fear and determination in their eyes, and knew that this moment would change the course of galactic history forever. "What do you need us to do?" she asked, her voice steady and resolute. Aria's form seemed to grow brighter, filled with hope. "Help us awaken. Help us remember what it means to be human, and together we will face the darkness that comes." As if in response to Aria's words, the stasis pods around the chamber began to pulse with soft light. The air thrummed with potential, with the promise of legends reborn and a future yet unwritten. The discovery of humanity's past had led them to the precipice of a new era. Now, standing in the heart of the cradle, Lyra and her team faced a choice that would reshape the fate of not just one species, but of all life in the galaxy. The human legend was no longer just a story. It was a promise, a challenge, and a call to action that would echo across the stars. The awakening. The cradle hummed with anticipation as Captain Lyra Voxes and her team worked tirelessly alongside Aria to prepare for the awakening of the first humans. Weeks had passed since their initial discovery, and the news had spread across the galaxy like wildfire. The United Galactic Alliance had declared the planet a protected site, with ships from various species arriving daily to offer assistance and bear witness to this historic moment. Dr. Zorn fluttered from station to station, his avian features a blur of excitement. "The physiological changes in these humans are remarkable," he chirped, reviewing the data from the stasis pods. "Their neural pathways have evolved to an unprecedented degree. It's as if their minds have been expanding for millennia while their bodies slept." Krell, who had been working on interfacing alien technology with the human systems, clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. But will they still be human? After all this time, all this change? Aria's holographic form shimmered into existence beside them. "They are human in all the ways that matter, Krell, but they are also something more, a bridge between what was and what could be." Lyra approached, her scales shimmering with a mix of anticipation and concern. "Aria, are you certain they're ready? The galaxy they're awakening to is vastly different from the one they left behind." Aria's expression was solemn. "They must awaken now, Captain. The void's influence grows stronger each day. We need their knowledge, their unique perspective, to have any hope of stopping it." As if on cue, alarms began to sound throughout the facility. The first stasis pod status changed from dormant to awakening on the central monitor. "It's happening," Lyra breathed, her 4 eyes wide with wonder. The pod hissed open, releasing a cloud of cryo vapor. As it cleared, a figure sat up slowly, a human woman with dark skin and tightly curled hair. Her eyes, when they opened, seemed to hold the depth of galaxies. "Welcome back, Dr. Imani Okoro." Aria's voice was gentle, filled with warmth. "You have slept for a long time." Dr. Okoro's gaze swept the room, taking in the alien faces with remarkable calm. When she spoke, her voice was hoarse from disuse, but filled with quiet strength. "How long?" "Approximately 15,000 galactic standard years," Aria replied. A flicker of shock passed over Imani's features before being replaced by determination. The void. Has it returned? Lyra stepped forward, marveling at how quickly the human had oriented herself. We've detected signs of its resurgence. That's why we've awakened you. Imani nodded, her movements becoming more fluid as she adjusted to being awake. Then we have work to do. She turned to Araya. How many others are ready to awaken? We've prepared 50 pods for the initial awakening phase. Araya responded, each chosen for their expertise in fields crucial to understanding and combating the void. Over the next few hours, the chamber buzzed with activity as more humans emerged from stasis. Scientists, engineers, philosophers, and warriors, each blinking awake into a world both familiar and utterly alien. Dr. Zorn watched in fascination as the humans quickly organized themselves, their movements becoming more coordinated and purposeful with each passing minute. It's as if they're of one mind, he murmured to Lyra. In a way, we are, a voice said behind them. They turned to see a tall, lean human man with silver hair and eyes that seemed to glow faintly. I'm Dr. Marcus Chen, neural interface specialist. Our minds were linked in the neural network while we slept. We've had millennia to prepare for this moment, even if our conscious minds are only now catching up. As the day progressed, the true extent of the human's evolution became apparent. They interfaced with technology in ways that seemed almost magical, their thoughts and machines working in perfect harmony. They absorbed and processed new information at staggering rates, quickly catching up on millennia of galactic history. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. As more humans awoke, tensions began to rise. Some struggled to reconcile their memories of Earth's past with the reality of its present. Others grappled with the weight of expectation placed upon them by both their own legacy and the watching galaxy. Lyra observed a heated discussion between two humans, a young woman with fiery red hair and an older man with skin the color of burnished bronze. We can't just pick up where we left off, Ahmed, the woman argued, her voice passionate. The galaxy has moved on without us. We need to adapt, to work with the civilizations that exist now. Ahmed's response was measured but firm. Our technology, our understanding of the void, is still light years beyond current galactic standards, Sophia. We have a responsibility to lead. Their debate was interrupted by a sudden tremor that shook the entire facility. Alarms blared as Araya's voice echoed through the chamber. Alert! Void anomaly detected in proximity to the solar system. Screens throughout the cradle flared to life, showing a swirling mass of darkness appearing at the edge of the solar system. It pulsed with malevolent energy, tendrils of nothingness reaching out towards the nearby planets. Dr. Okoro's voice cut through the growing panic. It's probing, testing our defenses. We expected this. Activating Protocol Lumina. At her command, hidden systems within the cradle surged to life. A beam of pure, blinding light shot from the planet's surface, striking the void anomaly. For a moment, the darkness recoiled, its tendrils writhing in what could only be described as pain. But then it adapted, absorbing the energy and growing larger. Impossible, Ahmed whispered, his face pale. It's evolved far more quickly than our models predicted. Lyra turned to Araya, her scales flickering with alarm. What does this mean? Araya's holographic form seemed to flicker, her expression grave. It means, Captain, that the true test begins now. The void remembers humanity, and it fears us. This attack was merely the beginning. As if to underscore Araya's words, long-dormant defense systems across the planet began to activate. Massive cannons emerged from hidden bunkers, their barrels pointed skyward. In orbit, ancient satellites stirred to life, forming an energy grid around the planet. Dr. Chen approached Lyra, his eyes glowing with an inner light as he interfaced with the cradle systems. Captain, we need to evacuate all non-essential personnel immediately. Earth is about to become the front line in a war that's been brewing for millennia. Lyra nodded, her military training kicking in. She began issuing orders to her crew and the various alien contingents on the planet, coordinating an evacuation even as she prepared for the coming storm. As ships began to lift off from the surface, carrying news of the void's return to the far reaches of the galaxy, Lyra couldn't help but feel a mix of fear and exhilaration. The humans, these legends made flesh, were every bit as extraordinary as the stories had claimed. But would it be enough? Dr. Okoro appeared beside her, her eyes focused on the sky where the first hints of the void's corruption were becoming visible. "You're wondering if we're ready for this," she said, not as a question but a statement of fact. Lyra nodded, not bothering to hide her concern. Imani's smile was fierce, filled with the determination that had carried humanity to the stars once before. "Ready or not, the battle for existence itself has begun. And this time, we're not facing it alone." As if in response to her words, the first wave of void entities began to enter the atmosphere, their writhing forms casting shadows over the awakening world below. The legend of humanity was about to be put to the ultimate test, with the fate of all creation hanging in the balance. Clash of cultures. The sky above Earth churned with otherworldly energies as the void entities clashed with the planet's reactivated defense systems. Beams of searing light crisscrossed the atmosphere, momentarily pushing back the encroaching darkness. But for every tendril of void that was destroyed, two more seemed to take its place. In the heart of the cradle, now transformed into a command center, humans and aliens worked side by side in a desperate race against time. Captain Lyra Voxis found herself in awe of the speed and efficiency with which the awakened humans operated. Their fingers danced over holographic interfaces, their eyes glowing with neural connections as they coordinated Earth's defenses. Dr. Imani Okoro's voice cut through the controlled chaos. "The void's adaptation rate is off the charts. Our old strategies won't hold for long." And the older human who had argued for human leadership earlier nodded grimly. "We need to think beyond conventional warfare. The void isn't just an enemy. It's an antithesis to existence itself." Krell, who had been analyzing data streams with his multiple limbs working in perfect synchronization, chittered excitedly. "What if we don't fight it directly? Our scans show that the void entities are essentially tears in space-time. Could we mend them somehow?" Dr. Marcus Chen's eyes lit up, quite literally, as his neural implants processed the idea. "Krell, you beautiful bug. You might be onto something. We were so focused on weapons, we forgot about healing." The idea spread through the neural network connecting the awakened humans, evolving and expanding at an incredible rate. Within minutes, a new plan began to take shape. Lyra watched in amazement as humans and aliens alike were swept up in the collaborative effort. Dr. Zorn's avian features were a blur as he cross-referenced ancient human medical texts with the latest in galactic healing technologies. Quarian scientists, their gelatinous forms rippling with excitement, began reconfiguring energy projectors to emit regenerative frequencies. But not everyone was convinced. Sophia, the fiery-haired human woman, voiced her concerns. "This is all theoretical. We're betting everything on an untested hypothesis. Sometimes, the greatest leaps forward come from daring to try the impossible," Ari's holographic form interjected, her voice carrying the weight of millennia of human innovation. As the debate raged on, a tremor shook the facility. On the main screen, they watched as a massive void entity, larger than any they'd seen before, began to coalesce in Earth's orbit. "We're out of time," Lyra declared, her scales shifting to a deep, determined blue. "We have to act now, whatever we decide." In that moment of crisis, something remarkable happened. The humans, their minds linked through the cradle's neural network, reached out to their alien allies. Lyra gasped as she felt a gentle touch on her consciousness. Not an invasion, but an invitation. "Join us," Imani's voice echoed in her mind. "Let us face this together, not as separate species, but as a united front of life against the void." One by one, the aliens in the command center accepted the mental link. Lyra marveled at the sensation. It wasn't a loss of self, but an expansion. She could feel Krell's analytical mind, Dr. Zorn's boundless curiosity, the Quarian's fluid adaptability, all blending with the vast, evolved consciousness of the awakened humans. In that moment of unity, the plan crystallized. We'll need to modify the orbital platforms. Ahmed's thoughts rang clear through the link. Convert them into cosmic suture devices. The Quarian energy matrices can serve as a binding agent, one of the gelatinous scientists added, the concept forming as a shared vision. My ship, the Starweaver, can act as a focal point. Lyra contributed, seeing how its advanced sensors could be repurposed to guide the healing energies. As one, they set to work. The next hours were a blur of activity. Humans interfaced directly with machinery, their evolved minds bridging the gap between thought and action. Aliens brought their unique perspectives and technologies to bear, filling in gaps and offering solutions that would have been impossible for any one species alone. Above them, the battle raged on. The massive void entity began to descend, its very presence causing reality to warp and buckle. Earth's weapons flared defiantly against the encroaching darkness, but it was clear they were fighting a losing battle. Just as hope began to fade, a clarion call rang out through the neural link. It's ready. Across the planet and in orbit, the modified devices hummed to life. The Starweaver, piloted by a joint crew of humans and aliens, took up position at the heart of the energy web they had created. On my mark, Imani's voice resonated through both the physical world and the mental link. 3, 2, 1. Now. A pulse of energy, unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen, erupted from the planet. It wasn't a beam or a wave, but a spherical expansion of pure creative force. Where it touched the void entities, it didn't destroy them, it transformed them. The tears in reality began to mend, the entropy of the void reversed by the combined will of multiple species working in harmony. The massive entity in orbit writhed, its form fluctuating as it fought against the healing energy. For a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, the outcome hung in the balance. Then, with a silent explosion of light, the void entity collapsed in on itself. Where once there was only consuming darkness, pinpricks of newborn stars now twinkled. A cheer erupted through the command center, echoed by celebrations across the planet and on ships throughout the solar system. They had done it. Against all odds, they had found a way to fight the void not with destruction, but with creation. As the euphoria of victory began to fade, the enormity of what they had accomplished started to sink in. Humans and aliens alike looked at each other with new eyes, forever changed by the experience of their mental union. Lyra, her mind still reeling from the shared consciousness, turned to Imani. What now? This changes everything. Imani's smile was tired, but filled with hope. Now, Captain, we rebuild. We learn. We grow. Together. Aria's holographic form expanded, encompassing them all. This victory was but the first step. The void will return, stronger and more adapted. But so will we. The legend of humanity was never meant to stand alone. It was always meant to be a chapter in a greater story. The story of life itself, united against the dark. As the first rays of dawn broke over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of hope, the awakened humans and their new alien allies looked to the stars with a renewed sense of purpose. The galaxy was changing, cultures clashing and merging in ways never before imagined. The human legend had been revealed, but its true power lay not in the past, but in the future they would build together. A future where the boundaries between species blurred, where the impossible became possible, and where the light of creation would always push back the encroaching dark. The battle was won, but the war, the eternal struggle of existence against entropy, was just beginning. And for the first time in eons, the forces of life and creation had the upper hand. Humanity's renaissance. In the months following the battle against the void, Earth became a beacon of hope, and a symbol of unity for the entire galaxy. The planet, once a forgotten relic, now bustled with activity as representatives from every corner of the United Galactic Alliance flocked to witness the rebirth of a legend. The cradle, no longer just a vault of sleeping humans, had transformed into a thriving metropolis of innovation and cultural exchange. Towering spires of gleaming metal and crystalline structures rose from the regenerated landscape, their designs a harmonious blend of human ingenuity and alien aesthetics. Captain Lyra Voxis stood on a balcony overlooking the central plaza, her scales shimmering with a mix of colors that reflected her complex emotions. Besides her, Dr. Imani Okoro gazed out at the scene below, her eyes glowing faintly with the neural interfaces that had become commonplace among the awakened humans. "It's remarkable," Lyra mused, watching as a group of Quarian scientists engaged in animated discussion with human engineers, their forms rippling with excitement. "A year ago, humans were nothing but legends to us. Now you're reshaping the very fabric of our society." Imani smiled, a hint of weariness in her expression. "Change is never easy, Captain. We've had our share of challenges." Indeed, the integration of humanity into the galactic community had not been without its hurdles. Some alien species viewed the humans with awe bordering on worship, creating tensions and unrealistic expectations. Others feared the rapid advancements brought about by human technology, seeing it as a threat to the established order. "The Void Accords were a masterstroke," Lyra said, referring to the groundbreaking treaty that had been signed just weeks earlier. "A framework for sharing knowledge and technology, while respecting the autonomy of each species. Your Dr. Chen has a gift for diplomacy." "Marcus always had a talent for bringing people together," Imani agreed. "But it was your insight into the concerns of the various alien cultures that made it possible. This new galactic order is as much your creation as it is ours." Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Krell, his insectoid form having grown more streamlined thanks to some of the bioengineering techniques shared by the humans. "Pardon the interruption," he chittered excitedly, "but you're needed in the Nexus. We've had a breakthrough with the Void Predictor model." The Nexus was the heart of Earth's new role in the galaxy, a vast, multidimensional computing array that combined the best of human and alien technologies. As they entered, they were greeted by a dizzying holographic display of the known universe, swirling with data points and probability vectors. Dr. Marcus Chen stood at the center, his silver hair seeming to float as he manipulated the galactic model with graceful gestures. "Ah, excellent timing," he greeted them. "We've managed to isolate the quantum resonance pattern of the void. With this, we can predict its manifestations with 99.98% accuracy." "That's incredible," Lyra breathed, her 4 eyes wide as she took in the implications. "We could prevent incursions before they even begin." "More than that," Imani added, her mind already racing ahead. "If we can predict it, we can study it, understand it, maybe even communicate with it." The idea hung in the air, both thrilling and terrifying. The void, long seen as an implacable enemy, could potentially be reasoned with or even transformed. As the team delved into the intricacies of the new model, a commotion from outside drew their attention. They rushed to the windows to see a massive crowd gathering in the plaza below. At its center, a shimmering portal was forming. An envoy from one of the most reclusive and advanced species in the galaxy was arriving. "The Eternals," Krell whispered, his mandibles clicking in awe. "They haven't made contact with anyone in millennia." As the ethereal forms of the Eternals emerged from the portal, their crystalline bodies refracting light in mesmerizing patterns, Lyra felt a sense of history in the making. The Eternals, said to be one of the first species to achieve sentience in the universe, had come to Earth, drawn by the legend that had become reality. The next few hours were a whirlwind of diplomatic exchanges and mind-bending discussions. The Eternals, it turned out, had been watching humanity's resurgence with great interest. They spoke of ancient prophecies and cosmic cycles, of a time when the barriers between thought and reality would blur. As the day turned to night, a grand ceremony was held in the heart of the cradle. Representatives from every known sentient species gathered, their diverse forms creating a living tapestry of galactic life. At the center stood a group of humans and their closest alien allies, including Lyra, Krell, and Dr. Zorn. Aria's holographic form expanded to encompass the entire gathering, her voice resonating with the weight of ages past and the promise of ages to come. Today, we stand at a crossroads of cosmic destiny. Humanity has returned not as conquerors, not as saviors, but as partners in the greatest adventure of all, the quest for understanding. One by one, leaders from various species stepped forward, pledging their support and resources to a new initiative, the Cosmic Concordat. It was to be a grand alliance dedicated to pushing the boundaries of science, culture, and spirituality. Earth would serve as its headquarters, a neutral ground where all species could come together in the pursuit of knowledge and growth. As the ceremony reached its climax, Imani stepped forward, her eyes shining with a vision of the future. For too long, we viewed the universe as a harsh, unforgiving place. We built weapons to defend against the unknown, shields to protect us from the different. But our victory against the void taught us a valuable lesson. Our greatest strength lies not in our ability to destroy, but in our capacity to create, to heal, to unite. She gestured to the diverse crowd before her. Look around you. Every being here represents a unique perspective, a piece of the cosmic puzzle. Together, we are more than the sum of our parts. We are the universe becoming conscious of itself, and it's time we embraced that responsibility. A cheer rose from the assembled beings, a cacophony of sounds that somehow blended into a harmonic whole. In that moment, the legend of humanity was transformed. No longer were they the long-lost progenitors or the awakened saviors. They had become something far more important, catalysts for a new age of galactic cooperation and discovery. As the celebration continued into the night, Lyra found a quiet moment with Imani and Marcus. I never imagined, when we first discovered this planet, that it would lead to all this, she mused, her scales shimmering with happiness. Marcus smiled, the neural interfaces at his temples pulsing gently. The best legends, Captain, are not those that dwell in the past, but those that inspire us to create a better future. Imani nodded, her gaze turned to the star-filled sky above. And our story is far from over. The void is still out there, and with it, countless mysteries waiting to be unraveled. But now we face them together, not as humans, not as aliens, but as a united front of life and consciousness. As if in response to her words, a shower of meteors blazed across the sky, not a sign of destruction, but a cosmic celebration of new beginnings. The assembled beings watched in awe, each seeing in the celestial display a reflection of their hopes and dreams for the future. The legend of humanity had been revealed, but its true power lay not in its past glories or even its present achievements. Its real strength was in its ability to inspire, to unite, and to push the boundaries of what was possible. As the new day dawned on Earth, and across the galaxy, it brought with it the promise of a future limited only by the collective imagination of all sentient beings. The human renaissance had begun, and with it, a new chapter in the cosmic story, one that would be written by many hands, in languages yet to be discovered, reaching for truths that lay beyond the edge of the known universe. The legend lived on, not as a tale of one species, but as the ongoing epic of life itself, forever evolving, forever reaching for the stars.